Hello there, welcome to Quickly Learn. Today we are going to see how to manage storage box by using storage application. In this video, we are going to focus on EMC Unisphere application. I have already downloaded and installed Unisphere application on my laptop. So let's open that one. It's opening now. Okay, so you can see this is DELL EMC Unisphere application, and in a dashboard it is showing system health, storage capacity, pools, system performance and system efficiency. If you want, you can customize this view by clicking on main menu and customize. So if you want to add additional view blocks over here, you can add that one. Let me show you how to do that one. So if you want to add a system efficiency, just select the system efficiency, and this kind of view you will be able to see. Add view block, and after clicking on this, you can see successfully added at a row 4 and column 1. Okay, so this way you can add additional parameters into the dashboard like system capacity, tier capacity, pools, system alerts, system performance, like this. Let's close this one, and here you can see system efficiency has been added successfully. If you want to customize it more, if you want to remove this system health, you can just click on remove, and you can remove that one from dashboard. Same for the storage health also, you can perform for pool also. Okay, let me close this one, and you can see our system efficiency is visible over here. So this way you can customize your complete dashboard. Then let's move cursor over here, view system status. After clicking on this, it will show us the system status. Right now everything is fine in the storage box, so it is showing okay. And this is Unity 480F, that is all flash array. Okay, software version 5.0.0.0.5.116 is running, and it is showing system time. If you want more details about the system, you can click on view system details. After clicking on this, it will take us to the system view. We are going to see the system view later, so I'll go to the dashboard again. Okay, then if any active jobs are running at the back end, you can see it from here. If you select this one, you can see there are no active jobs running. Then if you want to see alerts, you can see alerts from here. Okay, so some warning messages are available over here, like LDAP client setting on NAS server demo multi-protocol are not valid within domainapp.com. Okay, like this warning and alerts you can see related to storage box. Then let's go to the setting, which is one of the important option. So let's see one by one. Here in software and licenses, you can see license information. Right now here, antivirus server integration, CIFS SSMB support, data reduction, EMC proactive assist, fiber channel, storage analytics, file level retention management. These kind of licenses are already installed. You can see the issue date and the expiry date of the license also. If you have purchased any license, you can install it by clicking on install license, and then accept the license agreement and click next. Here you have to choose .lic file. Okay, and after choosing the correct file, it will be activated. Let's close this wizard. Then software upgrades. If you want to perform upgrade of the storage, you can perform that one. It's easy to perform that one. You can download a new software from the application itself. You can perform that activity, and once it is downloaded, you can just click on a start upgrade, and upgradation will be started. Then drive firmware. If you want to upgrade the firmware of your disk drives attached to the storage, you can perform that activity also, and you can obtain the latest firmware online. Here you can see in DA0 drive 0 SAS flash is there, and firmware is EQL3, and raw size is 1752 GB. Okay, so the complete information you get related to disk over here. Then language packs. If you want to install additional language packs, you can install that one, and system limits. Okay, so right now maximum NTMP snapshot count is 8, so this is the system limit. Like this, maximum backup file network interface count per NAS server 10, so these are the limitations available. Let's move to the users and groups. Okay, so I'm going to give you the overview of this application. Okay, because if you go in depth in all the options, it will take 3 to 4 hours to explain you all those things. So in my upcoming videos, I'll be covering all those topics in depth. Okay, but in this video we are going to have an overview of the application, how it looks and where all these options uh, we get. Okay, those things we are going to see. So user management, if you want to create additional users, you can create additional user over here. Admin is having the complete rights, so role is administrator, you can see. Then if you want to add your storage box into domain, you can add that one from here. Let's move to the management, and in management you can enable NTMP synchronization. You can have your NTMP server information added over here. Same way you can add your DNS server information, Unisphere central, Unisphere IPs you can add over here. Then remote logging, fallback policy, performance, and encryption. Okay, so all these options are available in this management. Okay, you can enable, disable things from here. Let's move to the storage configuration, and in this you get important information in your storage, how many disk drives are there, what is the capacity of it, like 1.92 terabyte SAS flash, 25 count we have, 7.668 terabyte SAS flash, 15 count we have, and 15.36 terabyte single SAS flash, total count is 6. Okay, so that information we get from here. Then support configuration, you can add proxy server information, then DELL support, credentials, contact information. Okay, and EMC secure remote services, column services. If you want to enable, you can select this one, and cloud IQ related and cloud IQ related settings you can perform over here. Okay, then go to the access, and access related stuff you can perform like chat settings, then Ethernet information, high availability, fiber channel. You can see WWPN numbers of FC port 0, 1, 2, 3. That information is also available over here. Then routing, VLANs, and ISNS configuration. Alerts. So generate all pull threshold alerts. You can generate that one from here. Email and SMTP settings you can perform over here, and SNMP. Okay, great. So then from here we can change password and do the logout. So those options are available. Then help option is also available over here. Okay, let's move to the system view. In system view, it shows Unity 480F status of it. Everything is fine. You can see 0 health issues, and how much power it is consuming, and the software version of it. In per SP we are getting 4 fiber channel ports. Okay, so 4 are in use, and here 10 Ethernet ports per SP we are getting. Okay, so that information is also visible. Let's move to the enclosures. There are two enclosures available in this storage, a DPE and a DAE. So DPE means it is disk processor enclosure, which is a combination of our service processor enclosure and disk array enclosure. Okay, so combining that one we call it as a disk processor enclosure. In a rear view, we can see the upper side is SPB and the lower one is the SPA. Okay, and here Ethernet module information we get. Then these are the FC ports available. Okay, same configuration is available over here, Ethernet port of SPA, and these are the FC ports. Okay, here we get the additional Ethernet ports. Okay, so same additional Ethernet port we get. Then let's see the front view. In front view, we have a disk available 0 to 24. That means it is a 24 drive DAE. Okay, if you click on this 0th hard drive, you can see drive 0 and complete information related to the hard disk. This disk basically, maximum speed it supports 12 Gbps and current speed we are getting 12 Gbps. So 12 Gbps means 12 gigabit per second, and the capacity of the hard disk is 7007 GB. Okay, this way we can read information related to the hard disk. These four hard drives are grayed out, so let's click over here, and additional information we can see a disk in your system has been removed, the slot is empty. Okay, so these slots are empty actually, that's why this way it is visible. Then if we click on the top, then top view it will show of this unity storage box, and if you want to see complete image in one shot, you can see this is SPA, this is SPB, and in SPA these are the memory modules. Okay, same configuration is available with SPB also. Then this is DP cooling module, this is SPB battery. Okay, so like this you can see all the storage components. Let's move to the DAE part. Okay, and in DAE you can see this is our link control card B and link control card A. So this link control card is required for the expansion of the storage. By adding the additional DAE, we can do that one. Okay, great. Then front view of this one, this is also 25 drive DAE. If you click on any of the drive, you can see this drive 22 and the complete information related to that drive you can get. Okay, let's see the performance. So in performance tab, you can see CPU utilization, file system utilization, then file system IOPS, same for the learn bandwidth and the learn IOPS. Okay, and a real-time chart also, if you want to see, you can see it from here. Okay, so data is available here. Okay, great. Then go to the service, and in service tab you can see overview, service task, technical advisories, and downloads. So this is our Unity 480F. The system is operating normally, everything is fine. If you want to configure a column service, you can configure over here, and you can test that one. Okay, we have already seen this one into the setting option. Then support contract, support credential, all that information you can get once you verify your credentials. And contact information, if you customize this contact, if you want to customize this contact information, you can give details like here I'm adding my details. Okay, and let's say ks and quicklylearn.in. Okay, and the phone number over here. Okay, 9923. And phone number here. And rack location where this storage is available. So let's say this is in India. Okay, and then click on apply. Okay, you can see at the back end that information is stored. Great. Then service task, if you want to perform activities on your storage box or service processor A, service processor B, you can perform it from the service task. Okay, so what type of services you can perform? So here collect service information, save configuration, restart management software. So if your management software is not functioning properly, you can use it for troubleshooting purpose. Then reinitialize, then change service password, shut down storage system. If you want to access your storage box by using the command line interface, you can use select this enable SSH, and hardware upgrade also you can perform. If I select this hardware upgrade, you can see hardware upgrade procedure may take up to 150 minutes. Some procedure will involve full shutdown of the storage system, halting of all IO services, and physically replacing hardware components. Okay, so make sure vendor is available with you to perform this activity, and then only you will be able to perform that one. And if you want to perform separate activity on a storage processor A, like reboot, reimage, reset, hold, you can perform that one. Same thing is available with the B part. Okay, all you need to do is just select the option and execute, and that will be executed. Okay, Then technical advisories. So additional KB information you can get from the technical advisories, and downloads. If you want to download the archive file and the core dumps, you can download it from here. You just have to select this one and click on download. It will be downloaded on your machine. Now let's move to the storage tab. In that, let's click on pools. So here we have two pre-configured pools available: dynamic pool 01 and dynamic pool 02. In dynamic pool 01 it is 67.6 terabyte, and in pool 2 it is 65 terabyte. Free is 66.7 terabyte, and here 64.7 terabyte. Okay, and percentage used, it is 1.3%, and here 0.5% is used. If you want to create your own pool, just click on plus sign, and let's say it is QL pool. And description you can give like we are creating it for testing purpose only. Let's click on next. Extreme performance tier. Okay, so SAS/8 unused drives we have 35,000 GB capacity. Just select this one. So system will um, select which RAID configuration you want, and here the system has selected RAID 5. If you want to change that one, just click on change, and RAID 5, RAID 6, RAID 10, all those options you can see. If you don't know what is RAID, I have already uploaded video. You can click on I button, and you can check that video to get more information about RAID. Right now I am not going to change this setting. Okay, so I am just closing this one. Click on next. Okay, we'll keep the setting as it is. Next, next, and this is the complete summary. Let's finish this one. After finishing, you can see 50% completed, 64% completed, 78%, 93% completed. Great, it's done now. Let's close, and our QL pool is available. If you want to perform additional activities on a QL pool, expand pool option is also available. If you want to expand that one, you can perform it from here. Then if you want to create a LUN to map it to your servers, okay, you can configure it from here. All you need to do is click on a plus sign, and that LUN creation wizard will be opened, and you have to provide the information. Already few LUNs are configured and visible over here. So let's click on plus sign. How many LUNs you want to configure? In this case, only one. Let's say QL1 is the LUN name. Okay, and I want to configure it from our QL pool. Okay, size, let's say only 50 GB, and thin we want to create thin provision LUN. Okay, what is thin provision LUN? I have already covered that one in previous videos, so you can check those videos. And data reductions feature also you can enable. So data reduction is basically if you want compression and deduplication feature enabled for this LUN. Okay, let's click on next, and here configure access to which server you want to give access. I'll just randomly select a couple of servers and click on OK, and let's click on next. Whether you want to configure a snapshot for it, let's enable the snapshot creation every day at 1:30 p.m. okay, and retain it for 2 days. Let's next. Do you want to enable the replication for this LUN? So yes or no, select that one. So if you select this one, which type of replication you want, asynchronous, manual, or synchronous, depending on that, you can perform that one. And then you have to configure the destination also over here. Okay, right now I am keeping it disabled. Let's move to next and finish. It is creating a LUN now. 35%, 60%, 84. It's completed. Great. So let's close it, and you can see QL1 is available, and we have mapped it to the host also. Okay. Same way, if you want to create a file system, you can create it from here. Okay, you can create your SMB shares and NFS share to mount it on your servers. So SMB shares are required to create a file system for your Windows machine, and NFS share to create a file system for your Linux machine, you can configure that one. Okay, and already few of the file systems are visible over here. You can perform that one. So again, I'm just giving you the overview of the application. So in our upcoming videos, I'll be showing you how to create this file system in detail. Let's move to the VMware tab, and here if you want to create a data store for your virtual environment, you can create a data store also. Same option, click on plus sign and provide all the information, your data store will get created. Then here capability profiles, protocol endpoints, data store shares, and virtual volume. All that information will be visible. Okay. In access, let's go to host. Now in a host, to map a LAN to the server, first thing is we need to register a host with the storage box. Okay, so these machines are already registered. Okay, if you want to register your own machine, just select host, and here you have to provide all the information like host name, then operating system, then network address. Okay, and once you provide that one, you have to provide the WWPN number of your server. Okay, and that machine will get registered over here. Okay, let's cancel this wizard. You can see all these machines are already available. Okay, so in HPX host, already one initiator is registered and 0 LANs are mapped. So this way you can read this information. Then VMware API is also inbuilt in this application, so you can perform vCenter, ESXi host, and virtual machine related activities from Unisphere application itself. Okay, then let's move to the initiators. All initiator information will be getting over here. You can perform the deletion activity and basic configuration stuff related to your initiator. Initiator is nothing but your HBA card information. Then in protection and mobility, we get a snapshot schedule. If you want to schedule a snapshot, okay, you can create it from here. Okay, so already default protection with shorted retention, then another schedule, metro sync snapshot, all these schedules are available over here. Then replication. In replication, this is the resource, so this is the source LAN which is replicated to the destination LAN. Okay, and asynchronous replication is going on. Okay, so in connection, if we click, you can see our Unity 48F is connected with Unity 380F and Unity 550F. Okay, so between 480F and 380F, synchronous replication is going on, and for 550 and 480, asynchronous replication is going on. Okay, you can add additional storage boxes from here. Okay, then you can configure interfaces. Already over here, Ethernet port 0 of SPB and SPA is configured. If you want to configure additional ports, you can configure it from here. Port 1, port 2, port 3, like this. Okay. Then import also you can perform from here. So import option is also available. Then let's go to the alerts. System alerts you can see from here. So I for information, this sign is for warning, then this red one is for critical, and this one is for error. Okay, so in critical you can see DP disk21 has failed. Okay, so this way storage will give you alert that this disk is failed. Okay, and what is the error over here? The system disk is inserted in the wrong slot. Okay, so from this you can get the alert related information. Then jobs, backend job information, you can see like we did a storage pool creation and creation of a LAN, so you can see those job information is also available and it is completed successfully. Okay, if you want to cancel any job, you can cancel it anytime. Okay, from here. Then logs, you can manage logs, you can see logs related to this storage box from here. Okay, now let's go to the support, which is last part of this overview video. And in support, you can see support forum option is there, product portal, replace dry power supplies and other parts. So from here itself you can order a part to the Dell EMC, okay, and you'll get that one. Then you can download, and a documentation option is also there. So software download also you can perform this from this application. Additional videos, if you want to access, you can access it from here. Okay, only the thing is you require username and password. And shop Dell EMC products. So let's visit the store. If I click on this, it will take us to Dell Technologies, and we'll get all their product related information. Okay, and great. And if you don't want to call vendor, okay, if you want to do a chat, you can perform the chatting also. Okay, and you can create a service request. Okay, so all these options are available in this application only. Okay, so this is really good application. And if you have any question, any query in any option, you can leave a comment. Okay, I'll definitely happy to answer your questions. Okay, so like this video and subscribe this channel, hit the notification bell to get notified for the latest videos. And thank you for watching this video, guys. Have a nice day.